What you see behind me is a crucial yet common sight on city streets everywhere. And this vehicle is what you will turn to when a trip to the hardware store for some home renovations needs that little bit of extra space. It's also the choice of 1 million skilled tradies right across Australia. But it's not just skilled tradies that love this vehicle. Weekend warriors and families all over the place are loving this vehicle for their diverse needs. Over the next 4 episodes, we're going to take a deep dive into the world of these mobile powerhouses. We'll guide you towards the right vehicle for you and customize into your specific needs. We'll introduce you to the latest trends and innovation, given 37% of vehicles sold this year alone were for business purposes. And leading those sales charts, the good old Ute. Joining me will be industry experts, familiar faces, and those real users who depend on these vehicles day in and day out, both professionally and personally. I'm Kris Smith, and this is Business Drive. It's not just a catchphrase, it's a crucial part of life for today's tradesmen. From construction workers to farmers to carpenters to electricians and the rural families right across Australia. The diverse role that tradies play can sometimes go unnoticed. Traditionally, when you think of a tradesperson's vehicle, you might imagine a ute. But the landscape has shifted significantly over the past 2 decades. Today's lineup not only includes advanced technology vans and a range of trucks, but also highlights the evolving needs and the entry of new manufacturers. Before we dive into the vehicle lineup for this season, let's catch up with Australia's favourite tradie, Scott Cam. Today I am joined by everybody's favourite tradie, Scott Cam, and we're going to be diving into what makes a great trade vehicle and why it's crucial to get the job done. Scotty, what is it that makes a perfect vehicle for a trader?
Well, mate, I think that varies on the trade. You know, number one, it needs to tow well because a lot of tradies tow trailers, but they've also, tradies have got a bit of coin these days, so they've got boats and caravans and all that sort of thing. So their work ute can become their leisure ute as well at the same time. So towing capacity, this thing will tow 4.5 tonne, which is any boat you'll get and any caravan you'll get just about. So this will tow everything. But so the Ranger goes very close to that as well. So I think that that's the case, but you know, like a Sparky's got lots of fixtures, fittings, I mean. So he's got to have probably the double boxes on both sides. Probably the bucket needs to come off, drop sides needs to go on, and you've got a double box on both sides because those Sparkies have all their little detailed power points and all their fittings and their conduit fittings and all that sort of thing that they have to carry. Plumbers exactly the same. Carpenters more so, they need tools. They've got to carry all their tools with them. So the payload is pretty important. As well, and little things like trundle drawers and all that sort of stuff go well. And tradesmen these days have got, you know, all the bells and whistles.
Now, Ollie, we're talking customisation very briefly there. What is the customisation you like to put on your utes?
Well, I've got, mate, one of the great things I saw a tradie have on his back of his ute, in his boxes, is what's called a travel buddy. Do you know those?
No.
They're a little 12-volt oven, and they're about this big. I've got one, and you can set that. They go up to 200 degrees, and they're on a timer, and they're 12-volt, and you put like half a dozen pies in there in the morning, and they're a pie warmer, but you can put food in there with foil over it, set it at 60. My wife and I drove 3 hours from Sydney to Mudgee, and we cooked a lamb roast in it on the way.
That's unbelievable.
So when we got to our campsite, we had a baked dinner while we were driving. This is the greatest thing of all time, the travel buddy. Little fridge is also really great, which I've got, and I've got an inverter with some other stuff. And so I've got a little microwave in there, a 1,000-watt microwave in there as well. If you're camping and it's raining or something, you can just cook a frozen meal.
And that's why he is the best in the business. And for your next business drive or any information you need on Business Drive, go to drive.com.au. Welcome back. Now, I'm stood amidst a very impressive lineup of vehicles, each one meticulously aimed for specific needs, whether it's business or personal, like converting our e-Transit into a very comfortable mobile home. These vehicles are integral for various commercial activities. Millions of Australians turn to these robust machines to streamline their operations. Customised for every job, they truly embody the term fit for purpose. Throughout the coming series, we'll explore these vehicles in depth. And in order to do so, I need a man whose knowledge far outweighs that of an average human being. In fact, this man probably knows more about these vehicles than the manufacturers themselves. It is, of course, a director of content from drive.com.au, Mr. James Ward.
Chris, wonderful to be here. Hey, great to see you.
Great to see you, sir. Now, is this not the best lineup you've ever seen?
Absolutely, mate. We've got some terrific examples here of what people are buying. So from the double cab Utes, some very familiar names, familiar faces, a few new players. But let's remember too, people are buying hybrid sedans, hybrid hatchbacks for their businesses as well. So we'll talk to all of those needs, as well as looking at some of these impressive vehicles over the next few episodes.
Now let's start. Now we've got big, we've got bigger, and we've got this baby. Let's start right here. The Ram Bighorn, American badge, American made.
Well, not exactly. These come out here from the US as a left-hand drive vehicle, and Ram Trucks Australia actually convert them. And convert's probably not the right word. They re-engineer them to right-hand drive. They've done 30,000 of these things. They've been running it for 8 years. So this is Australia's new automotive industry of sorts. The factory is pretty impressive. It is the only licensed Ram factory outside of the US to do this, and they do all of the work here. So the cars will be designed for Australian drivers to work in Australian roads. And what you get is, of course, a big car for a big country. Under the bonnet, a 5.7 litre petrol V8, now with a mild hybrid system.
What's a mild hybrid?
Well, under here, you've got this. This is the Ram e-Torque system. You've got a high voltage, 48 volt battery down the back of the car. This is like it's a starter generator, so it works in a number of different ways. You've got an electric motor there with a belt drive that helps the car for the idle stop. So you pull up to a set of lights, the 8 cylinders shut down, the light goes green, you lift off the brake. The starter generator will fire up the car much, much faster than a traditional starter motor driven by solenoids. When you're driving along, it will use the car's power to help recharge the battery under acceleration. It's able to spin things up faster to make gear changes both up and down even smoother. And what it means is that you've got yourself a relatively efficient platform here, because that 5.7 litre V8 sounds thirsty, but on a touring drive, it shuts down half of its cylinders. So it runs as a 4-cylinder on a long run. It's a lot more efficient than it really should be, and it definitely works in a touring environment.
Efficiency and technology. Now turn around, because we have right behind you Australia's best seller by quite some way.
Well, this is right. The Ford Ranger, it was the 2023 Drive Car of the Year. It is Australia's best-selling vehicle, and it really is the benchmark now for what double cabs mean for both work and play. People are buying these as working utes, but then using them as family vehicles on the weekend or during the week as well. So they need to be a Swiss Army knife. They are a proper multi-role vehicle.
And there's a mix of that luxury inside as well.
Absolutely. This is as comfortable as your lounge room. Like, you really, and some of the tech, we'll get into it a bit later on. It is a really, really cool car. Plus, orange. I always thought Utes had to be white. Like, you know, you got to have some fun.
So from the crowd favourite, we've got one of the new kids on the block, which is offering some incredible value for money.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is the Jack T9, and it's just one of a number of new utes coming to the Australian market, really kind of aiming at value buyers. This thing, as you can see, it's bigger than a Hilux, a bit smaller than a Ranger, full of equipment, but you get a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, 7-year cap price servicing for business buyers. And it's that kind of going into it eyes open value that a lot of people are looking at it. And take a look inside. You're getting a lot of ute for your money. There's some pretty impressive technology in here. You've got that great big screen. You've got all the driver assistance stuff, and, you know, quilted leather, mate. This is no ordinary work site.
Now, not everybody in business requires a ute.
No.
So which means the next two cars offer us something quite similar, but also completely different.
This is the thing. Not everyone needs a ute, exactly as you say. So the Isuzu D-Max and the Isuzu MU-X give you a choice of whether you want a wagon or a ute. And certainly for us in media, we're carting around camera gear and expensive stuff. Having things in the security of a wagon-backed vehicle in an SUV makes so much more sense than leaving it in the tub of a ute where it's exposed to the elements and maybe theft. And in the case of these two cars, they're basically twins. You've got the same capability, same engines, same off-road ability underneath, with either the choice of the ute and its payload or the wagon and its comfort in different body styles.
What is the big differences?
It's a great question. So underneath, you've got the same car. So it's the same, you've got a choice of the 3 litre or the 1.9, and we've got one of each in either of these cars. You've got the same off-road capability, but the big thing is suspension. Here on the SUV wagon, you've got coil-sprung rear. It's more comfortable for passengers. It's got better road holding and better sort of compliance for normal driving. But the leaf springs on the ute handle a bigger payload. So it's about 930 kilos in the ute, about 600 odd kilos in the wagon. But I guess the key thing to remember, and it's like we've said, if you've got gear that you need to keep out of the weather or out of prying eyes, an SUV actually makes a really good working vehicle. And if you're looking for a 4x4 working vehicle, 80% of Australia's road network is unpaved. So having a car that can go anywhere, wherever you need to go for work, actually makes a lot of sense.
So this is actually the perfect vehicle for that sneaky shopper in a household that wants deliveries arriving in silence.
Absolutely, mate. This is everyone's, well, online shopper's best friend, the Ford e-Transit. So it's a fully electric delivery van, and that means it's silent, it's smooth, zero tailpipe emissions. Brilliant for that urban inner city delivery. This is the future of business vehicles, and we'll have a much better look at it a little bit later on in the program, because to really understand it, you do need to be out on the road, because in terms of capability, it's got everything a regular Transit does, just really quietly.
Needless to say, I loved the big Ram, but I need the bigger Ram. What is this?
Well, mate, this is the Ram 2500 HD. So this is the bigger Ram, exactly to your point. And I guess this is what you need if you do need more. And there's more space. It's a 6-seater cabin. There's more power. You've got a 6.7 litre turbo diesel in this one. So it's diesel, not petrol. This has got 276 kilowatts and 1,152 Newton meters. And to put that into, a concept, power, kilowatts, is how fast you can throw the ball, and torque, Newton meters, is how heavy a ball you can throw. And with this, you can throw a really heavy ball.
And if you don't know what this car is, you've been living under a rock.
Look, absolutely, mate. This is the unbreakable Toyota Hilux. It is the quintessential working vehicle. Now, what we've got here today, because obviously we've seen all these modern, spacious double cabs, that's where the market's at. But let's not discount the single cab chassis ute. You see these things working for regional workers, for farm workers, but mainly you see them for businesses. You will see these things with the stop slow lollipop holding up traffic on a construction site, because they are a tool of trade. These are a working ute. And as the Hilux, well, it's been part of the Australia's working landscape for decades now, and it's the car I think that everybody can recognise from, well, 1,000 yards away.
Great insight, mate. I can't wait to find out more about these cars in depth and, of course, take them out on the road.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. Now, many small business owners are constantly looking for ways to optimize their operation. One key area there is financing their assets. I'm joined by Ryan from Stratton Finance to discuss whether it's viable for small businesses to actually finance. Ryan, what do you think about that?
It's a great question, financing for small businesses. There's a lot of things to consider, obviously, for the small business, and not one size fits all. Cash is king when it comes to business, so keeping cash flow within the business allows a business owner to do multiple things, whether that's expansion or pay staff or obviously, stock, suppliers, etc. So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to a small business taking out finance, but we see the market has definitely moved to a large majority taking out finance.
And would you prefer that with a small business like that to finance as opposed to pay cash for vehicles?
So paying cash for vehicles up front, obviously if you're, for an example, you're expanding your operation, you need to bring on, 4 new trades, for example. Say a ute costs $50,000, that's a big hit to your cash flow. As a small business, you probably want to keep that cash and potentially just look at a way that you can just pay, say, $4,000 a month as opposed to $100,000 or $200,000 up front. The benefits to the business are obviously you can then use that cash that you've kept in the business for other income generating pursuits, whatever they may be. And then there's obviously tax benefits that come along with finance also.
And how can financing impact a small business's growth scale?
Well, growth scale is often related to how much you're able to physically do. Obviously, every business wants the ability to bring in more revenue, and to obviously do that, you need to be able to spend money. So if all of your cash has gone to purchasing assets up front, you're probably unable to do other things that will bring money in. So if you're able to retain your funds, so that way you can spend on income generating activities, whatever that may be, that definitely has the ability to benefit a business.
And what are the cash flow advantages of financing?
Well, like we were just speaking about, cash flow advantages are you've got the funds there ready for use. If you've already, think about a business is not too different to the average Australian family. If you've spent all of your money, you're unable to go and do things with your family. It's a very, very similar concept with business. So a business may be looking at bringing on additional team members or maybe additional equipment or going and looking at purchasing another business to kind of bring in-house. You're able to do that if you're able to budget right. We know we've got this amount of money coming in, we've got this amount of kind of age receivables, this is our expenditure, this is our monthly repayments. So the ability to forecast and budget definitely is going to help a small business if you know this is the amount that's going out and it's a smaller amount as opposed to a very large chunk in one hit.
And are there particular types of financing that are better for small businesses?
Well, at Stratton Finance, we see a wide range of businesses coming to us that look for finance for different things. You can look into things like a chattel mortgage, which is a very, very popular form of purchasing, particularly vehicles for small businesses. You can look at leasing vehicles, which is a similar concept if you think about buying a house or renting a house. Similar principle, you own the asset with a chattel mortgage, a lease, the bank purchases it, and you're just renting that usage of it. You've got cash flow, obviously, if you're looking to spend money and you want to be able to pay that back over smaller increments as opposed to all the money going out, you can obviously look at that. There's debtor financing, there's invoice financing, so there's ways for businesses to keep cash in their business and then just pay back the lender, whoever that may be, for whatever it is they're choosing to purchase.
Ryan, thank you so much. Very knowledgeable. Your insight is much appreciated. Is there anything else you would like to finish with? Any advice for our viewers?
Well, at Stratton Finance, we'd love to help small business owners to really further their business, put themselves in a really good position. Very important to note that with the discussion today, this has all been general advice. It's very important for people to speak to their accountant, their financial planners, to make sure that they're doing the right things for their business, not only in the short term, but in the long term.
Well, throughout this episode, we've been looking at fit-for-purpose vehicles and their benefits within the building world. And of course, I needed an expert on that front. So here we are, Tradie Tim, the builder himself. What is it you look for in a fit-for-purpose vehicle within your world?
To be honest, Chris, I look for a few things. Reliability when I'm dragging all my material around from job to job, practicality, and then something that on the weekend I can pack the kids up and head on a weekend adventure.
Now, you wasn't always a builder. You started off as a bricklayer.
Correct? Correct.
Has your need of utes changed over that period?
It has. It has. I was much more of a tray setup initially, but now getting into the building side of things, it's much more it's more like a portable office is what I need. So something with all the bells and whistles inside, but yeah, it needs to be a practical experience out there on the road.
Hey Tim, now let's talk about customization. You know, you buy a ute, what are the additions that you need?
Now more in the building game, I like to have everything stored in with a lockable canopy. So that's normally what I'd be looking for. Ladder racks, so again, you can put material on the top or ladders, as it suggests. And yeah, they're the added features that I would be looking for, even a floodlight at the front, just to make it look tough and cool.
So Tim, what is it exactly you look for as a builder?
Well, I guess at the moment, being a builder, this vehicle here, absolutely suitable for what I need. Great storage in the back, comfort in the front, and like we said earlier, all the bells and whistles. But some of my trades who have big machinery, etc., and more tools, something like the Ram here can carry all their needs.
Because they are completely different vehicles, aren't they? We've got the D-Max right here, which is a beautiful, sleek-looking ute. And then we got the beast. This is an absolute beast, the Ram 2500. But I understand that in your trades world, it's not only just about what you can fit in, it's what you can pull on the back. What would you use these two for?
Well, look, something along the lines of the D-Max here, we'd be going for your cement mixer, your smaller trailer, and that, you're right, this big beast of a car. Something like your excavator, even your caravan on the weekend, something to get away with. But it's an enormous vehicle, and that towing capacity is really, high up on people's lists.
Across the country, Australian businesses are looking for reliable partners to help them with their on-road expenses. BP has been fueling Australia for over a century, which makes it more than just a fuel provider. BP Plus isn't just a fuel card, it's a business solution offering monitoring and control, convenience and rewards. Imagine saving with every litre of fuel, earning Qantas points with Qantas Business Rewards every single time you fill up, and managing your everyday business expenses. With BP Plus, you can enjoy ongoing discounts on fuel and up to 51 days interest-free credit terms. You can also manage your account and vehicle expenses from anywhere with BP Plus online. Do business the clever way. Make running your vehicle and fleet easy and efficient with BP Plus. Thank you for watching Business Drive, and for all information, head to drive.com.au. Coming up next week on Business Drive, we see these utes in action and how they're made. And we take a scenic drive down the Victoria coastline to chat to a dedicated crew whose business really relies on these fit-for-purpose utes. Don't miss out.
Are you ready to buy your next new vehicle? Well, the team at Drive can help you out. We have reviewed and driven all the new cars on sale in Australia at the moment to help you make a smart choice and buy the right new car for you. We've got cars for sale right now from reputable dealers over at drive.com.au. And of course, if you're ready to sell your car, we can help you with that too. Everything you need to know about buying or selling your car, it's over at drive.com.au.